Hey guys, it's Courtney from Willows Bloom, a sanctuary of self-care for female entrepreneurs online on willowsbloom.com and here on YouTube. So today I want to talk to you guys about working with the moon or manifesting with the moon, which is such a fascinating topic for me. So let's dive in. Okay, so why would we work with the moon? Well, if you consider the cycle of the moon, it's about 28 days long, which is about how long our cycle is as women. So if we start to sync ourselves with the moon, it's like we're working with nature, working with our own internal cycle. So working with the moon is usually a really powerful way to set your intention and see it to completion. And the reason being is because the moon waxes and wanes, and it has different energetic phases all throughout this process. I've heard a lot of people say that during the full moon, if you work in a hospital, that's when you have all the crazy people coming in, like with weird injuries and things like that. And that's because the energy or the emotion is really, really heightened during the full moon. So you can see that we are somehow affected by these moon phases or the cycle of the moon. So I'm going to walk you through it from start to finish to show you exactly what those phases are and what is, the theme for that phase or for that period of time. So we begin with a new moon, which is known as a fresh start. And the new moon is actually dark, meaning there's no moon at all in the sky, visibly anyway. And this is the moment in which you should set your intention for the upcoming cycle. So we haven't actually begun the journey yet, but we're just getting started in the pre-planning phase when we're deciding what do we actually want out of this next 28 days. And oftentimes we can work with the cycles of the moon. However, if we're trying to plan something or do something for work, it's likely going to take longer than 28 days. So maybe what you can do is use these themes to sort of work on different aspects that are in line with the theme of the moon, but actually not completing it within one cycle. Maybe you'll complete it in 4 moon cycles or 5 moon cycles, but maybe every new moon and in each sub-cycle, you'll set a new intention, or you will decide, what you want to complete for the next 28 days, if that makes sense. So the new moon is only 1 day, and then after that we have the waxing crescent moon, which is between days 2 and 6. And during this time, we are planning it out. So we're going to sit down with our intention and then decide what our plan is in order to achieve our goal. So, you can start to schedule things for your business, or you can start to write out your business plan or what you actually want to do, and then start to calendar block it during this period of time. Then after that, on day 7, we have the first quarter moon. And this is when you're going to take that very first action step. So now that we've calendar blocked it and we've planned it and we've set the intention, what we want to do now is actually do something to start the action. So maybe I'm going to call my first client, or maybe I'm going to press publish on the webpage or start to write the article. Whatever it is that you're trying to do, now is the time to step up and actually start doing it. From here, we have the waxing gibbous moon, which is days 8 to 13. And this is when you're going to have your nose to the grindstone and actually really be doing all of the work. So while the first quarter moon was only 1 day and just asked you to take that first action step, well, the waxing gibbous is asking you to really, really put in hard and diligent work. So during this period of time, you might want to block it off on your calendar and tell yourself to schedule more stuff during this time, or get the meat of your project done during this time, if it feels good for you and if your schedule allows it. So maybe if you wanted to write a book, for example, during the first quarter moon, you might decide your outline and the title and then actually start writing it. But during this waxing crescent phase, you're actually going to really, really write it. So you're going to go through all of the chapters and write maybe the first 5 or however long it will take you. This is when you're going to really have to call on your inner reserves and your perseverance and your diligence, because this is the hardest part of the moon cycle. After that, we have the full moon, which is on day 14, halfway through the moon cycle. And this is when you've made it to that top of the mountain and you can really look back and see how much you've accomplished. So let's say you're writing the book and you wanted to do the first 5 chapters. Well, this is a point where you're looking back at those first 5 chapters that you've actually completed, and you're like, wow, I did a pretty good job. And you can edit it or just have a look at it and just admire what you've done and really sit in those emotions. Because like I was mentioning at the very beginning of this, the full moon is a time when all the emotions are rising to the surface, because in astrology, the moon is ruling over the emotional side or our inner landscape. So you might have to sort of work through what you've just accomplished and decide, okay, this is what I did really well and I connect with emotionally, and this is what doesn't make me feel good, and this is kind of what I need to change, or go about it in a different way as I'm moving forward throughout the rest of this project. After that, we have the waning gibbous moon from days 15 to 20. And this is the moon that I like to call sharing is caring. So basically, now that we've accumulated all of this work, we don't want to just hoard it for ourselves. We want to share it with people. So this is maybe when you're going to post a preview of it on your social media, or share it with your family, or show someone what you've learned and what you've done, because this is a point in time when all the knowledge has accumulated and it has to go somewhere. So you really want to share it with people. Then we have the last quarter moon, which happens on the 21st day. And this is kind of the pre-stage to the next phase. So they're kind of similar. But at this point, you're really going to start to decide what you need to release in order to move on. So if we're thinking about this like as if you were hiking up a mountain, you're probably not going to carry all the food with you up and all the food with you down. Let's say that you have way more food than you need. At some point, you're going to decide, I need to release some of this extra food so I can keep going in a lighter, more effective way. So that's what's going to happen at this last quarter moon. Maybe you can take a moment to reflect on what doesn't align and what you want to release, and kind of connect that full moon energy with this, and actually journal about, okay, I want to release this because during the full moon, I realized that this didn't feel good. Then we have the waning crescent, which happens on days 22 to 27. And this is when you're actually going to start to release those things. So you're not just planning about it, you're not just thinking about it, you're actually throwing the food out of your backpack. So what is it on this journey or on this creative endeavor that you're doing for your business or whatever you're doing? What is it that's holding you back? What is it that's no longer serving you? What kind of tactics have you been using that aren't really working? Really reflect on all of those things, and then take the time to rework things in a new way so that you no longer have to use or utilize those old things. And then the last day is the 28th, and you're going to have the dark or balsamic moon. And this is your time to rest. You've already done the reflecting, you've already done the purging and all the activity prior to that. And now you actually get to just rest and integrate everything that you've just completed. This integration process is really important. And we do separate it from the new moon, even though both are black or dark. And the point is that you're going to have a day of rest and integration, and then you're going to have a day where you're thinking about the future and setting your intention. So we're really having two distinct periods of time where you're not taking action, but the energy is different. If you guys like this video, then you'll probably like my video on scheduling with your menstrual cycle. So I'm gonna put that up in the cards and down below in the description. There's a big overlap between the menstrual cycle and the moon cycle, and that's because we both have about 28 days and different phases. So I think I talk a little bit about that in the menstrual cycle actually, but you'll notice that there is a lot of overlap in between them. And I would love it if you guys would comment down below if you actually notice that the energy shifts when there is a full moon, because this is something that I've always felt. Like I have trouble sleeping, and there just seems to be a lot more emotions or frenetic thoughts in my mind whenever there's a full moon. So I would love to know if you guys have a similar experience. Just write that down below in the comments. Thank you guys so much. Please like, subscribe, and comment below. But don't forget to hit that notification bell, because that's actually how you're gonna get my videos pushed to you guys each week. Have a really good one. Bye.